with us. Ben and Barry on football, Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. Coming up, the Bias Plus report for week 7.
Also known as the Matchup Show.
So, very quickly, what is the Bias Plus? Bias Plus is the difference in net points between two teams who are going to play against each other.
Right.
And it favors the team with the greater net points. So, for example, if one team has a net point of 25, the other team has a net point of 5, the difference is 20, and it favors the team who's been winning by an average margin of 25. That's how that works. That's called the bias. The bias plus is where we add in the turnover differential. So if that same team that had the 20 net point bias in their favor, if their turnover differential was 5 and the other team's turnover differential was 1, the turnover differential bias would be 4.
4, which we add to
the 20. So that would give them a bias plus score of 24.
Right.
All right? That's some high level nonsense there for you, but it's strict numbers. And it's amazing what the numbers reveal when you start to dig into them. And that's what we're going to do for upcoming week 7. Benny, you ready for week 7?
I'm ready for week 7. Let's go.
Really?
Let's do this.
All right. We're going to have to.
I'm coming strong. No second guessing. No scribbling stuff out. Although it did serve me well last week. I did second guess myself a couple of times and turned out to be right. But I feel better this week.
Okay. I'm on the side with the net points. It's no guessing. This is just what the numbers are saying. Where are we going to start here? Let's take a quick look. All right. Man, I'm seeing some matchups here. Let's start here. Okay.
Yeah, looks like you'll be working your way back.
Yeah.
So that's as good a place to start as any.
Good a place to start as any. We have Broncos Chiefs.
Oh, this is the Thursday night game.
Yes.
Okay.
Broncos Chiefs. Chiefs have a net point bias of 28 and a turnover differential bias of 5, giving them a bias plus score of 33 in favor of the Chiefs.
So on the surface, you would say, Chiefs have all the advantages. Looks like a Chiefs game. 33 is not a big number. I will also say that the Broncos looked pretty spirited there last week, whereas the Chiefs, especially defensively, looked a little putrid, if you ask me. The main problem with the Chiefs' defense is their run defense. They can't stop a soul. And guess what? Broncos got 2 good running backs. And then the better they run and the more they run, the more pressure they take off of Joe Flacco. I'm taking the Broncos at home to win this game against the Chiefs. That'll be 3 losses in a row for the Chiefs, won't it?
I do believe. Chiefs come in ranking in net points 8th. Broncos coming ranking in net points at 18. In points 4, Chiefs are 4th with 172. Broncos are 24th. All right, at 106. In points against, however, Chiefs are 21st, giving up 144. Broncos are 7th, giving up 106. And the Chiefs have the turnover differential in their favor at +3. Broncos are -2.
That's fine.
So I think that the Broncos have been developing.
Yes.
They're finding themselves. Flacco's finding his way around.
Yeah.
Again, you got a quarterback who is seasoned,
Yeah, he's not old, but he's seasoned. He is seasoned. He's on a new team, a new locale, new coaches. He's playing for a coach who's basically a defensive coach. But he's trying to fill the void of the leader and the quarterback for a team that really needed one and hasn't had one since Peyton Manning. And I believe I heard a quote by Von Miller that said, this is the best Denver Broncos team that he's been on since Peyton Manning left. So that says a little something.
That says a little something. All right. Talked a little bit about the Packers. Raiders. Packers are home. Raiders got to come to town.
It's going to be a good game.
47 net point bias favoring the Packers. Net point turnover differential bias favoring the Packers. That gives the Packers a bias plus score of 52 in their favor, and they're at home. You think it's going to be a good game?
I think it's going to be a good game simply because the Raiders are coming off the bye, and before they went on the bye, they were playing well and had a big win, if I remember correctly. So because the Packers are not at full strength, although their running game looks pretty good. Jamal Williams took over when Aaron was having some problems. Gone, he dropped that touchdown pass.
Oh,
that hurt me bad. But
well, first of all, that game, when it comes to dropped passes or flubbed passes, he had like 2 or 3 of them. I mean, the interception. It hits the guy, bounces off of his chest, face, or whatever into the hands of the defense.
Yeah, it was looking like Mr. Rogers wasn't getting anything to go his way. But they worked it out by being able to move the ball on the ground and then throw it when they wanted to. And that worked well for them, and I think that'll continue to work well for them against the Raiders. I just think the Raiders are going to put up a pretty good fight, that's all. But I see the Packers winning that game.
Josh Jacobs coming to town.
Yeah.
Josh is coming. Niners. Washington team that needs to change their name. All right. So as you know, and if you're following along, as far as the Madden is concerned, I play the franchise. I play the season. I did play this game.
Okay.
I only won by 3 points.
Oh, jeez.
But I don't think the Redskins are as bad on the game as they are in real life. They actually kind of was giving me a little bit of trouble here. But again, running team. I'm not a team that's going to run up a big score.
Right.
I want to run the ball. I learned my lesson. What do you got here? What do we got? We got the Niners.
Look at that bias.
160 net point bias, a 4 turnover differential bias, both favoring the Niners for his bias plus score of 164. And guess what? It's not the highest of the weekend.
It's not, but it's going to seem like it to Washington. This is a no-brainer. There's no way that they're going to be able to do anything against the 49ers defense. And you can't win if you don't score. So we'll just leave it like that.
We'll just keep going on that one, right? Niners, baby. Go get them. Go get them. All right. Got a new cornerback. Excuse me. Got a new cornerback. Got the Falcons. Falcons just lost to the Cardinals, right?
Yep.
Falcons coming to town. So
Rams just lost to the
Niners.
Right.
But you got a cornerback now to cover the Falcons' best receiver.
So it'll be Jalen against Julio. We'll see a lot of highlights of Julio running routes and not getting the ball.
Ugh.
Boring.
You don't think they're going to challenge?
Oh, they're going to have to.
That could be a nice matchup.
It could be.
Could be a nice matchup.
He might catch a couple balls.
Could be. Rams are favored. They have a 50 net point bias in their favor, 2 turnover differential bias in their favor. That's a bias plus score of 52. However, on our sheets, it all is in red because both teams are in the negative relative to both net points and bias plus. So you got 2 negative net point teams banging it out, but the Rams are favored in this one.
And somebody's got to win. And I just have no respect at all for the Atlanta Falcons defense. So I'm going to go with the Rams. Sorry.
You like those Rams like that?
No, I dislike those Falcons like that.
It does make a difference. It does make a difference, you know? All right, so here you go. Time for some Miami Dolphins skew for the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Bills, you know, I took a look at this.
You can't just automatically skew the game. You can't call it a skew till it actually happens. Oh, you really disrespecting these boys now. Come on.
Uh-oh.
They are
What you said was throwing the season or whatever.
Yeah, they take it, but they still are an NFL team. You got to give them that much.
We have where is this? How did
Oh, there's a big bias. 158.
Yeah. Did you notice? It's one of the few times where in that range of bias score, you have two exact same scores. 164 for the Bills over the Dolphins. Bills 158 plus 6 on the turnover differential, giving them a 164 bias plus score, same as the Niners have against the Washington team that needs to change their name. So
okay, nothing to see here, folks.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Bills at home all the way.
Moving right along. We have.
Ooh, this might be interesting.
Bengals, Jaguars. All right. Jaguars have a net point bias of 48, and they're tied for turnover differential, so that's 48 bias plus score for the Jaguars.
Bengals at home, but they're not going to be able to do much. I think they'll score some points. I think this might be one of those back and forth games. But I'm going to bet on Mr. Minshew having a comeback because he played really bad last week. There was no Minshew magic last week. There was none. He couldn't do a doggone thing. He probably looked like people expected him to look when he had to first take over the team. But instead, he was all great and smoking mirrors, and everybody's like, oh, this guy's great. He's wonderful. Where did he come from? Well, he had one of those games that people were first expecting him to have. But I believe he'll bounce back from that.
Going to take their mustaches off if he keeps
They might. If
the mustache.
Yeah, well, he's on the road this week, right? Yeah, they're on the road this week, so it won't be a whole bunch of mustaches in Cincinnati. But I believe the Jaguars will win that game.
Do you believe?
Yes, I do.
Oh, my Lord. Let's look at the Giants and the Cardinals. As I said, shame on you, Giants. You let a rookie quarterback come in and have a net point bias of 12 and a turnover differential bias of 6.
They have nothing to do with that.
Favoring the Cardinals at 18.
The Giants don't have anything to do with that.
All in red.
They don't have anything to do with that. They got to play the game.
And you think that the bias is not going to hold?
In this game, I'm going with the Giants.
No, you fandom going with the Giants?
No, I'm going with the Giants.
You think that the Giants can beat the Cardinals?
Yes, at home.
Why do you think the Giants?
At home, Daniel Jones will be more efficient than Kyler Murray, and Saquon Barkley
is back. Saquon's a gift, Barkley.
I could take my flag football team out there and play the Arizona Cardinals defense and run all over them. Yeah.
Now you're talking smack.
Yeah.
You're talking Smizak now.
Yeah.
Okay, we shall see.
Let's go, Giants.
Net points favors the Cardinals. Let's just make sure that we don't misunderstand where we stand here. This looks like a good one.
This is going to be a really good game. This one was tough to pick. This might be my intriguing game of the week.
You got to make up your mind because the Texans have a net point bias of 30.
I tell you what, I'll real quick. Oh no, I can't.
Turnover differential bias of 1, giving the Texans a bias plus score of 31.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one.
Are you gonna go with this one?
I'm gonna go with this one as my intriguing game, even though I see another one that's going to be really, really good.
The other one is probably the one that I chose.
Yeah, probably. Your sleeper team.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be a really great game too. But as good as Deshaun's been looking, and I love Deshaun, but at least I spoke of Deshaun and the problems he has with the other deficiencies on the team that he is on that will hold him back earlier in the season. He has been able to overcome those deficiencies for the most part over the last couple of weeks. I don't know if he can continue to do that. The Colts are not a powerhouse. However, they got a real good run game. Jacoby Brissett has been, I don't want to say playing over his head, but I think he's been a little bit of a surprise. to Colts fans who were really down and out after Andrew Luck retired. And they're coming off a bye, and I think they're going to be prepared, and I think they're going to come after Deshaun, and I think the Colts will win this game.
Going against the bias.
Going against the bias again.
Oh, man. This guy's got heart. Got heart.
Got hurt, cuz.
Man, you got heart.
Got hurt, cuz.
Division game. Weird division game. The Lions give everybody a hard way to go.
Yeah, and they're home again. Don't they have any away game? When was the last time the Lions were on the road?
Well, they'll get their chance.
It seemed like they're home like every week.
Net point bias favors the Vikings at 56.
As it
Turnover differential goes with the Lions at 4.
Think about that.
Net now to 52 for a bias plus score, favoring the Vikings.
Okay, think about.
I smell an upset, even on the net.
Oh, there you go. Okay, you with me on this one. You with me on this one. Yeah, I'm liking the Lions.
Lions need to be tired of this mess.
That's right. They should be.
And they're
turnover hungry, and they're playing Mr. Cousins.
Even with the complaints about the refereeing, people were saying, well, you can't end drives and field goals.
That's right.
And beat the Green Bay Packers.
That's right.
You're going to have to score.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You got to get down there. You got to get that ball across that line.
Yep.
If you really want to be, up in the net point rankings, you can't be kicking field goals and getting in the top 5, top 10 in the net points. That don't work that way.
That's true.
So, but, the Vikings, I think the Lions defense is better than the Eagles.
Okay.
They beat the Eagles, right?
Yep.
So now Kirk Cousins is going to have to play a little bit better defense.
Right.
Against a team that's a little bit better on defense.
And he's on the road. And then so now we'll get to see a little more of who Kirk Cousins actually is right now.
Which is always the question.
I like the Lions.
You like the Lions?
I like
too.
the Lions.
Okay, so a little net point thing going on there. Let's move on. You said that you were really disappointed with the Bolts.
Yeah, and I also said that I hate watching the Tennessee Titans because they're boring. So this is one heck of a game right here. Holy smokes.
And look how small this net. Matter of fact, this is the smallest bias plus score of the weekend.
Yep.
Titans have a net point bias of only 4 points. The greater differential comes with turnover differential in the Titans' favor at 8. Net bias plus score of 12 favoring the Titans.
First of all, every week they're announcing who their starting quarterback is. Mariota, Tannehill, Tannehill. I think I saw early this morning they're going to start Tannehill in this game. This is ridiculous. If you can't settle on your quarterback, you got a lot more problems than you're letting on. Number 2, your offense is boring. It's boring. It's vanilla. Okay? And number 3, I'm not impressed with the fact that you have the bias plus because it seems like you have the bias plus every doggone week. So that being said, Chargers, wake up. I'm picking you to win this game. Please.
Well, net point wise, okay, Chargers are ranked 16th, Titans ranked 15th. Okay. Points for, Chargers ranked 19th, Titans ranked 26th.
Everything's tight.
Points against, Chargers ranked 12th. Not bad. Titans ranked 5th. So
still tight.
You won't need no-dos. You'll be able to
maybe I will be able to watch this game.
And then wake up and find out just what happened.
2 teams in the same neighborhood across the board. So we're talking about hoods.
Smallest
there you go.
Differential, bias plus rather.
It might actually be worth watching.
They're bringing, who they're starting, what's his name for the Titans? Tannehill.
Yeah.
So the question was asked about Tannehill. Don't we kind of know who he is? Is he really better than Mariota?
Well, we know who the Miami Dolphin Tannehill was, and people expected him to be a certain way. And since he's been with the Titans, it's almost like they want to start him, but they also still are trying to be faithful to Mariota. That's the way it feels to me. You know what I mean? They don't want to completely crap on Mariota, but he does these frustrating things, and they're like, he hasn't improved. He hasn't gotten better. Maybe he's on the wrong team. Maybe he would do better on another team. I don't know.
Again, one of those athletic quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you have those quarterbacks, it makes the coaches' offense going a little lazy. Because they can, just let him run it when they get him to run it. And again, I don't like that. If it happens, it happens. But
he runs, to me, I haven't watched them extensively, but he seems to run really out of necessity. It's like I think he's on a team where they're encouraging him not to run, and he just can't handle it.
He still runs, eh?
Because they're coming at him, and he doesn't feel comfortable.
Not processing it fast.
Yeah, he's not feeling comfortable as a pocket passer.
2.5 seconds, that's the time Tom Brady gets rid of that ball. So if you can't get rid of it in that time, that's a standard that you need to be aware of and start to think about what you need to do to be. And sometimes it's not him. Sometimes it's the coaching. Again, play actions on blitzes, when you're getting crushed and looking up and guys are in your face, things happening like that. So, okay. In any event, smallest bias plus score of the weekend. All right, who's up next? Yes, the sleeper team and my intriguing game of the weekend.
You're killing me, man.
Seahawks, Ravens.
Could a Seahawk kill a Raven? You know what a Seahawk really is? The name of the bird?
What?
It's called an osprey.
Oh, the osprey. They're fast.
They're very fast.
That's what
they fly down and swoop and grab the fish out of the water. And,
okay.
Yeah, they're real. They're pretty rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Ravens sit back reading some dark poetry.
Yeah. That could be scary.
In a dark place somewhere. Come on down here. Isn't in this place. Ravens, Seahawks. Ravens, 25 net point bias in their favor. With the Miami Dolphins skew included. But the Seahawks, bias plus turnover differential, bias turnover differential favoring the Seahawks at 6.
Yeah.
So that drops that bias plus score down to a small 19.
That's a nice turnover
and
bias.
The Seahawks are home.
I'm just looking up and down here real quick. The Patriots have an 8. The Titans have an 8. Seahawks have a 6. That's a nice turnover bias.
So we're looking for competitive.
I love the Ravens. I love Lamar Jackson. But Russell Wilson's having a special season right now. Real quiet. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks at home. And I expect this to be a really good game. If by chance the Ravens win the game, I think it's going to be a nail biter. And it's going to be exciting. But I got to pick the Seahawks to win. It could go the other way.
That Lamar doesn't run too much because that defense will catch you.
Yeah, they'll hurt you too. They're still
get rid of that ball.
Pretty vicious.
That pocket. Use Ingram. Ingram's the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Ingram's let that go through him.
He's having quite a year since he's been away from the Saints. Some people thought he wouldn't be able to stand up on his own, but he's doing quite well.
He got the Good Morning Football angry run of the week at one particular point. So he wore the crown.
He's a straight up angry runner anyway. He should be a contender for that every week. It's just his style,
That's what he does.
Yeah.
And now the Saints have what's his name backing up.
Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's not exactly the same, but
not the same.
he's got size though. So
Yeah,
he's no small
he's
runner.
not bad.
You can't be messing around with him too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Speaking of, did we just mention these
The
guys?
Saints, yes.
Saints, Bears. That is kind of intriguing too, actually.
It is because the Bears have not been playing well and the Saints have been playing well, and people are still going, it's Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know. How long can they keep it up?
Well, you got two backups here, right?
Yes.
You got two backups, right? Bears have a net point bias of 12 and a turnover differential bias of 4. So that's a bias plus score of 16, second smallest of the weekend.
Anybody heard anything about Trubisky when he's supposed to be back?
I think that they're going to have the same challenge when he comes back, which is, I think, soon they're going to have with the Panthers.
I knew that's exactly why I asked that question, because it's going to be something that they have to think about. And chances are, him being the number one pick, see, Cam's been around longer. So his leash, I think, is a little tiny bit shorter. Okay, Trubisky hasn't been around that long, so they're kind of tied to him a little bit. But he's wearing that as welcome, bro. And if a guy like Chase Daniel can come in, yeah.
Looking at the rankings, Saints are 14th in net points. Bears are 12th. All right. Bears have a net point bias of 18. Saints are +6. Points for the Saints are 16th, and points against their 13th. As the Bears, they rank 30th in points for, and 3rd in points against. That sounds like the Titans almost, don't it?
Yeah,
one of those teams,
right?
Know? Heavily
offensively challenged, but defensively still strong.
And the Bears are home.
Well,
how's their kicking game? They still?
I think they fixed that.
They fixed
they got the guy Panero or whatever.
It might come down to that.
Panero bread.
It might come down to that. You know,
this game could come down to that, but I hope it doesn't. I hope the Saints go in there and handle their business. That one's tough to call. I'm going to pick the Saints under the handicap of knowing the health of Alvin Kamara, though, because as of today, he was not practicing. He's got a high ankle sprain, and he got his knee dinged a little bit in the game too. There's a possibility he may sit out the game. So, yeah, that's a fantasy dilemma, man. If he's like your main guy,
right.
It's tough. It's tough. And Latavius Murray, even if Kamara doesn't play, Murray's good, but he's not Kamara. You know what I mean? Some dudes you handcuff and you expect them to be able to, like, the Bills have a rookie running back, Singletary, who's just getting over a hamstring. But if Frank Gore was to go down, you put Singletary in, he'd probably do pretty much the same thing. But I don't think Murray can do the same thing Kamara can do. So
well, he can't. That puts the onus on the coach, who actually is a coach who is flexible enough to handle that.
Yeah.
I can see him changing, and all of a sudden running a power run game.
Oh yeah, he'll just bring Taysom Hill in,
right?
And they'll go to a Wildcat or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Or you might just turn around and wind up handing it off to Latavius like 15, 20 times.
He could,
and play a little grind out game there and see what happens.
What happens? Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Keep Teddy in a 3rd and 3.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing right there. So. All righty, let's see who's
surprised you didn't pick that. This next one is your intriguing game. I mean, it is an intriguing game.
Yeah, neither one of these teams
Come on. No, well, they don't. Well,
neither one.
But the matchup is intriguing.
Same division. There's the weird part, all right? Same division games. Division games are weird. Cowboys carry the net point bias at 27. Eagles carry the turnover bias, which is a little surprising.
A little bit.
At 4, which puts that bias plus score in the Cowboys' favor at 23.
So, Cowboys got the bias. Cowboys are at home. All
Cowboys on the hot
kinds of
seat.
Cowboy coach on the hot seat, team on the hot seat, questions about the quarterback.
Questions about that run defense in the red
Questions
zone.
about
Which
the
the
run
Eagles have, I
defense.
think, 2 good running backs.
If they ever figure out how to use them, right?
That's the question.
Well, we've been saying that about the Eagles for some years now. And my quote is, there seems to be no rhyme or reason to how they deploy their running backs. I can't figure it out. If you can figure it out, let me know.
My conjecture, get to use that word.
Go ahead.
Again, they put the running backs in on a play-by-play basis. Which back they think will make this play work best.
Oh, this is the play we want to run, so let's use this guy.
Yeah, this guy run.
I got you.
Sproles is the best person for this play.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
So it's not like you don't have a run game per se.
Right.
You know, you do have running plays, but it's not like, you know, if there was a run game. Now, when they had Blood, they had a run game. That's why the RPO works, if you have a run game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they have 2 good running backs. A third if you add Corey Clement in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a fourth if you have Sproles, which we both think he should be playing special teams and not really running the ball unless you're going to put him in the slot or something like that. But long story short, you know, they have some diversity of talent that they can go to.
True.
So question again is going to be Wentz, accuracy, catching the ball, you know. I think that they can probably go in there and Cowboys have a bias for a score of 23. We're going to leave it at that. If my wife heard me say anything nice about the Eagles, she'd be pissed because she's like, you're jinxing them.
Right.
Because you said something nice about them. So I'm going to leave it alone because I love you.
Oh, Lord. If that's the way the Eagles see it, if that's what they like to do, if that is in fact, and it seems like you're right. I agree. When you explain it that way, it kind of makes sense from what I've seen. Then that's all well and good. That's great. That's how they like to do it. It's wonderful. But what it takes away is the opportunity for a big back like Howard to really get it going and put a game away in the fourth quarter.
As you call them, the volume guys.
Exactly. He's a volume guy. So if you don't give him volume, you're taking something away from his game.
Now,
well,
is not playing also, right?
I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. He is injured.
The fantasy people aren't all over that?
Yeah, he's got an injury tag. I'm sure they are. I'm a little slow with I had to get out of the house early this morning. I haven't had a chance to sit on my teams.
Can the Eagles defensive front stop Zeke? Can they handle? I get the feeling like both coaches are in a situation where they're going to have to call their best games. They're going to have to go with their money. They can't be messing around. They're both 3-3, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the division lead is on the line.
I'm trying to remember.
And whoever stumbles is all of a sudden be looking at the Giants in the face for the second place.
Yeah, I don't remember the Vikings really running roughshod over the Eagles defense last week. I think they had some success on the ground, but they didn't dominate them on the ground. So that's probably the strength of their defense is stopping the run. Obviously, the weakness of the Eagles defense is their defensive backs, especially the corners. So that's where I expect the Cowboys to attack. And they're attacking with Dak Prescott, who people are now questioning as to whether he can actually get that done. And here's the funny thing. If he gets it done, they'll be like, oh, it's the Eagles. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't, they'll be like, damn, he couldn't throw the ball on the Eagles? He's horrible. So you can't win.
Lose, eh?
Lose, but I'm picking the Cowboys.
Going with the bias plus. All right. Well, that's, like I said, this is going to be an interesting game. And that brings us up to the Monday night masterpiece.
Holy smokes, Bullwinkle.
The Monday night masterpiece. Donaldson is back, baby. He's ready to deal. What's the matter?
His name's
Darnold. Thank you.
For a second, I was like,
Donaldson. I heard that guy. He live down the street. The Jets, Patriots, division, right?
Yeah. What's the bias?
210 Patriots. 202 net point bias. 8 turnover differential
Jeez.
bias. Patriots have a bias plus score of 210 in their favor.
Okay.
Now, let's see what kind of challenge you want to put up on the bias now, buddy.
Let me put it to you this way. Last week, I said Dallas over the Jets was a no-brainer. Dallas had a 97 bias plus. This bias plus is 210. You think I'm not going to say this was a no-brainer?
The Miami Dolphins skew, Bill.
Dude,
forget that.
forget that. Now, I will say this. This may be a good game. If you're a Jets fan, I know you'll be tuned in. If you're a Patriots fan, take a look at the Jets. They beat the Cowboys last week. Might be entertaining. They're not going to win. But let's see what Sam Darnold does. Now he's back from his illness. He got a game under his belt. He got a big win. I'm sure they rah-rah in the locker room and all that stuff. Le'Veon Bell's all happy. He's in a good place. Let's see.
I'm looking at the worksheet on this, and I keep looking. I keep seeing Patriots 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm like, every category, net points, yeah.
Yeah, they're in
Points
first
for,
place in
yeah.
every category.
Points against, yes, and turnover difference,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's called having your work cut out for you there.
Yeah, they're
JT.
clearly the best
Jets,
team in the
Jets,
NFL.
Jets.
And, they're still looking to get better and clean things up. But if any offense can continue to win with what would be considered somewhat lesser talent, it is Tom Brady and the Patriots, and we all know that. So,
And we know a lot of that bias plus the Jets did not have their starter in there, right? So it's kind of a whole new team. So if it, let's say weeks 1 through or 2 through 5, right? Because he wasn't there. He was there for the first game, right? And was out with Milano. So let's say those 3 games when they had their third string quarterback running in there, you know.
Yeah, because the second string guy got hurt
like
as soon as he went right in.
Right, he went right in, got hurt. So points for the Jets are actually 31st. Okay. But, you would say, they were not a functional offense, you know, and now they are a functional offense.
Yeah.
Defensively, the Jets.
They were not bad.
Are 14th.
Right.
The neighborhood that they're in, number 1.
And I think they were doing really well in turnovers, weren't they?
We're going to look at that in a second.
They were.
But their neighborhood includes the Raiders,
the
Jaguars, the Steelers, the Panthers are all below them. Above them, just slightly, is the Saints, the Chargers, the Lions, and the Colts.
Okay.
The Packers. So they're right in that neighborhood.
That's the points against?
Points against.
Okay.
Right. Now, you asked about turnover differential. Again, 13th. They're plus 1.
I know
they're in the neighborhood with the Vikings and the Eagles and the Texans, all at plus 1.
So, again, we're talking about the better defenses are going to be okay in both of those categories, points against and turnovers. So there's a difference. I'm sure people are saying, the Jets, the Dolphins. No, there's a difference between the Jets and the Dolphins. A big difference. So
would you say Darnold?
That's
the big difference.
That's the big difference.
That's the big difference.
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier. You start to talk about what a franchise quarterback means to a franchise.
Absolutely.
That was almost the perfect example.
Right. He comes back and they're like another team.
They're like another team. They beat the Cowboys. Nobody expect them. All of a sudden they're competitive, you know. And so, I'm sure Le'Veon Bell is levitating a bit, you know.
And there was nothing fluky about that game. They came right at them. They took their lumps and they gave out lumps. That was a good game.
That was a good game. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else? In case you had not noticed, ladies and germs, we are at the Sterling Net Point Power ranking page here, which is where you will find the top 5. You will find the Bias Plus reports, all of this good information that we're handing out right there on Facebook at the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings at Sterling NPPR. Before that, we were at Ben and Barry on football at BNBOF. Again, you can find highlights and other information. We do try to add, some good stuff in there. We have all the games here, but there was something that I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah. Last week, and I'm scrolling down here real quick. Everybody can kind of see what's going on. But the communication system broke down for Seattle, and Russell Wilson had to call his own plays.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. It makes the news. I mean, when a quarterback gets to call his own plays,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because when we were playing ball in the streets, when you're playing ball in the streets, you call your own plays, You get a quarterback here, Russell Wilson. How much money is he making?
A lot.
Highest paid quarterback in the league, right?
He is?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I think that last contract put him at the top.
All right.
But if not, you can easily say he's one of the highest paid.
Absolutely.
So you're paying these guys hundreds of millions of dollars, but you don't trust them to call their own plays.
Well, they're paying the head coaches and offensive coordinators a lot of money too.
Not that much money.
No, not that much.
Not that much money.
That's because they have to know the play and execute it. The other guy only has to call.
Is that what it is?
So, yeah.
So he gets a little bit more.
Yeah, but everybody's got a job to do.
But I didn't. I have to go back and kind of look at. I want to see like what plays
they were
and stuff like that. Yeah,
go back and take a look. You know what? Also, if you're going to do that, because I know you have the ability to do that, watch and see what happens to the other team's offense too. Because the rule is, if one team loses communication, they turn the other teams off. So it's not so that they don't have an advantage.
And I do kind of remember that happening in like New England, right? Where things go.
Now I don't know how long the system was off. It might have only been off during their series that they had the ball. So
right.
It wouldn't affect the other team, but
I gotta go back.
That's something.
That is something to look at. But that's the kind of stuff that you can find in Ben and Barry on football. Okay.